Everybody, hey, wanted to touch base on something I touched lightly on in my last post in regards to car payments and the impact and the opportunity cost that is lost when we send our money off in car payments every month. Now, I made I made the argument that if we can rid of car payments in our lives, then this is one of the biggest steps that we can make towards living a more prosperous life and um, freeing up our income so that we can invest in other areas of our lives that are more important. And let me explain what I mentioned, the opportunity cost that is lost, or the opportunity cost that we give up when we take on these large car payments. First of all, the average car payment in America, I don't have the exact figure, but I know it's somewhere between $450 and $500 a month. Yes, the average car payment in America is between $450 and $500 a month. So if we take that in consideration, let's take the low end of that. Let's take $450, okay? And let's say we we have a car payment from 25 to, well, let's use different numbers because I'm going to use 20 years. So let's just say from 40 to 60, which is very generous because most of us have car payments far longer than that. But let's say 40 to 60. Let's say 20 years. Um, and I'm not even sure how much money that is to throw away. $450 times 20 years. So if you want to do the math in your own time to figure that number out, that'd be great for perspective. But let's talk about what that 450. Let's just assume that it's like 200, like over $100,000 is thrown away at car payments in our lifetime, which I think is extremely generous. Extremely generous. I think you'll find that out very quickly. But just for the sake of numbers, let's just say $100,000. So let's see the opposite end of that spectrum. Let's see what would happen if we took $450 a month and instead invested it in a mutual fund for retirement, or we invested in our retirement, and let's assume, as we have before, a 10% growth on that money. And we continue to put that 400, instead of paying a car payment, we're continue to put that $450 into our retirement. In that same 20 years, the money that we put in, that car payment we put into our retirement every month, would grow to be worth more than $300,000. $300,000. So if we assume on the low end that we throw away about $100,000 on car payments, and then that same money we used to put into our retirement would grow to be more than $300,000. Well, what does that tell us? This is a $400,000 mistake we're making now. Let's stretch this out over 30 years, okay? And say we're putting that car payment in for 30 years. So now we're talking from like 30 to 60. That $450 a month, stretched out over 30 years, grows to be worth $800,000. $800,000. I mean, we're creeping up on $1 million here. So an $800,000 mistake, and let's just use that same $100,000 investment we had made into these car payments, the payments we made in these car payments. $900,000 mistake. $900,000. So the opportunity cost that we throw away, the opportunity that we throw away, is to allow that money to grow for us, to allow that money to work for us. Which leads me to my biggest point when it comes to debt and investing, is that interest is a penalty. Interest is a penalty on our life and on our money. And investing in growth is a reward. So, you know, the banks know this. Why do you think they issue credit cards? They've got the money. And they're preying on you because you don't. The answer to that equation is we got to be more prepared for life events. We have to be more prepared so that we don't have to use their credit. And car payments is a huge way they make their money. They've got the money and they know you don't, so they prey on you. Now, look, I don't have a problem with somebody making an honest living, but some of these interest rates that some of these companies are requiring us to pay is pretty crazy. And quite honestly, it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary for us to have to use this consumer product, which is credit, which is one of the best marketed products in the world if you think about it. I mean, this is a consumer product that people line up and beg to have. Uh, and we actually at times get mad when we're denied credit, right? So like this is the best marketed consumer product in the world, and it's killing our finances as families and as a country. So um, car payments, $450 over 30 years grows to $800,000. Let that set in. You can retire pretty comfortably on $800,000 even today, very comfortably. So, just food for thought. Think about that car payment. You know, $450 a big car payment. I mean, a great start would just to get down to $200 car payment a month. You could do a lot with $250. You can do it quite a bit with $250. $250 can probably pay off one of your small credit cards. $250 can pay the cable bill. $250 pays the electric bill. It frees up cash for you to do things with, guys. $250 a month for about, I don't know, 8 months. You can have a pretty nice vacation. A vacation maybe you haven't had in years. $250 is a lot of money that we can do a lot of things with. Um, $450, excuse me. But yeah, the $250 we'd free up if you got a car payment down to $200. So yeah, just think about the cost that car has for you every day, and then or every month, and what you could do with that money if you didn't have that car payment. Look, I understand you're still going to need a car. I get that. I get that. But we can buy a cheap car with cash. You know. Uh, let's talk about that for just a second. Look, I don't want you to live in a 2000. I don't want you to drive a $2,000 car your whole life. But can you do it for 6 months? Absolutely. So let's say you got rid of that car. And look, I know the reality of this situation. It's part of the reason why I don't like car payments, especially on new cars, is that by the time you drive it off the lot, you're already paying a car payment on a car that's worth $5,000 less than the loan's worth. So I know that when you have a $450 car payment, more than likely the car is upside down. Which means you're going to have to, if you sell it, you're still going to have to take out a personal loan to pay off the difference of the balance that you owe on the car. Okay? So let's say that it's a $25,000 car and you return the car, or you sell the car for, let's just call it 18 grand. So you got a $7,000 difference. You get a $7,000 loan, probably going to have a payment of around, let's just throw 180 out there. I know on like 10 grand it's like 2 and some change. So let's just say 180. Okay? So we went from 450 to 180. Okay? If we can just find a way to scrounge up $2,000, okay? $2,000. You get a $2,000 car. I know it's not going to be much. But we drive that car for a year, and we save the difference between what our car payment was and what our car payment now is, which is just the personal loan. We can save up some pretty decent cash in a year. And you know what the reality is about a $2,000 car in a year? Guess what it's still going to be worth? $2,000. So you can turn around and sell that car for $2,000 and take the money that you've saved and step up in car. Say you buy yourself a $4,000 car. You know what's funny about a $4,000 car after a year? It's just about worth $4,000 still. So you can sell the car for $4,000 and you can step up again in car. So look, I'm not looking for you guys to be in cheap cars your whole life, but this is the way less travel that can get you out of the credit card payments, the vicious cycle of credit card payments that's stealing all of the power that that your income has to help you build growth, help you build wealth. You can't build wealth when you're continuing to send that money to everybody else every month. You need that money to start staying at home. So think on that. Um, you know, handling finances is 80% behavioral. It's 20% head knowledge. The problems we have with finances is our own behavioral habits, without question, every time. And we can always find a way out. But the first person we have to fix, for us men, is the guy you shave with in the mornings. Um, for you women, I guess the person you put your makeup on with in the mornings. I don't know, whatever y'all do. But, you know, we are the problem with our finances. And until we figure that part out, this vicious cycle will never end. So think about your car payments. Think about your other debts in general. The same things we talked about today applies to any debt we have in our life. A pet peeve of mine is just car payments. So dig in and everybody have a blessed day. Take care.